So yeah, why are we here? Well, hello and welcome to the Everyday Project. I'm your host, Mel Bowmans. Very excited to be here. This project's been brewing for quite a while now and it feels really strange to be back in front of the mic. Yeah, I haven't done this in a little while, so feeling a little bit rusty here. Also, this is a little bit scary. Once again, putting myself out there, chatting in front of a microphone to myself is definitely a new experience for me. I like talking with people. I like sharing things with people. Yeah, I've done that for a lot of my life on social media. I've always created and uploaded things on the internet and shared opinions, so through writing or something. So this is just another format of that. I today just wanted to come and record the first episode. I feel like this is probably something I'm never going to feel 100% ready for. I think I've been holding off on this project a little bit because I have been waiting for it to feel like, perfect in my head, like we're ready to go. But if there's anything I learned from my 2 years of podcasting, it's that the episodes just got to keep rolling sometimes. The show must go on. And I think, honestly, that's kind of a bit of a motto I've been embracing through life a bit lately as well. Like just that things have to keep going regardless of if you want to or not, in your mood's not 100% right. So I said to myself, I'm recording this today. We're getting it started this week. And yeah, that's the promise I've made to myself. So I am committing and here we are. So I thought today could be a little bit of just an introduction to what the Everyday Project for me is all about. Also to talk a little bit about what I guess encouraged me to do something like this on my own. And I also really wanted to talk about reconnection or connection in general, because I think that's a theme that for the past 2 years I have been reconnecting with myself, I guess I'd say. And for anyone who knows me, you'd know that I used to be probably a lot more active on social media with my creativity, and I kind of lost a bit of my spark through that. And I feel like every creative goes through this process of losing your spark, losing your spark for your craft or whatever it is that you do. Because yeah, that's just life. Life gets busy. My neighbour's currently walking past and she's probably looking at me. Thankfully, she's shorter than the hedges outside my house, so she can't see me now. Yeah, life's been confusing. It's been unstable. It's been fun. It's been very spontaneous. It's been, a lot of randomness has happened in the last 2 years, I'd say, for me. So the past 2 years, I stopped creating because I found that social media changed a lot. For one, it became really overwhelming. I kind of lost a lot of passion for what I was doing because I guess I wasn't getting the engagement that I wanted with my creativity. I also felt like I got into a rhythm of creating things through social media for a particular audience, and I really felt like I lost who I was or what I actually was about. I feel like I didn't know or understand what I was about, and I think that that's actually what happens through this digital age where we post things online and we create a persona, that we do start kind of losing touch with who we are and what is true to us. Yeah, so I kind of had that reflection at one point and decided that I wanted to get offline. I wasn't talking like cold turkey, like not using any social media or anything like that. It was more just like that I wanted to stop my business or stop creating and posting content online. So just made the decision to completely stop. And that was really hard because I think any creative knows that stepping away from something that you've been, has been your life and a bit of your purpose and the thing that you show up to every day is really scary. So, so doing that felt weird, and I think I kind of felt a bit lost for a while there, because going from having that as a rhythm in my life every day to having nothing was weird. So, but I ended up starting a podcast with one of my good friends. I started bartending. I've worked hospo jobs in the past 2 years, as a waitress, as a bartender. And then obviously in between the last 2 years too, I've done a lot of dating. I'm not dating anymore. I have a boyfriend now, which is nice. And obviously also in between this, I have been, floating between different jobs. I've felt a lot of pressure about trying to find, a professional job. So I'm still in the process of doing that. I updated my website. I started taking clients again. So that was good. So I actually rebranded my whole business, and I came back 2 years, I think I had off of traveling. I went to Europe. I went to New York. I went to Airlie and lived there for a while. And I think in between all this travel, all these casual jobs, and just kind of having life, tick away at the background, I feel like I had this time to I had so much freedom, and I had so much freedom that I felt like I could really follow wherever my curiosity took me. And I am so lucky and privileged to have that freedom in my life. So I will emphasize that, because every day I do feel grateful. I feel very lucky. And I think that was really good for me, because I was able to have the freedom to explore things, like explore my curiosities. And one of those things became going to Airlie Beach. So, and I would say that trip, so last year I went to very far north Queensland in the town of Airlie Beach, which is right near the Whitsundays, but Airlie Beach is on the mainland. So I went to that little town. It's actually quite remote, which I did not know until I was there. Like, that town is just like a strip of shops. You've got Woolies, you've got tourist shops. It's a very touristy, typical Australian beach town. You've got the pokies, you've got what have we got? The pokies. All the backpackers are going to be laughing at this bit, but you've got the pokies, you've got BWS, you have Liquorland, BWS, you've got the pokies, the three most typical important things about Australian culture. I'm kidding. But seriously, no, the thing is, you've got the beach, you've got crocodiles, you've got jellyfish, snakes, spiders, lots of mosquitoes, flying cockroaches, humidity. It's honestly paradise. And I'm being genuinely serious. That it is a beautiful scenery. Like, that's why so many wonderful, exotic and poisonous deadly animals live there, because not even, but like this, it's beautiful. Like, I love that place so much. And I actually went there for 2 weeks for a holiday last year, and then that's why I went back and I decided I'm going to live here. Because I just fell in love with it. I just fell in love with the peacefulness, the green, so much green, so much blue. I think I am a bit of a beach girl at heart, so I'm always drawn to that. So that tropical island life was very suited to me, and just the small community of that town, like the local vibe that it has, and also like the wildness of the backpackers there. Like, I think the people are also obviously something that really drew me there. I felt like all these people were like me. I felt like all these people that I met in Airlie when I stayed at the hostel were actually, a lot like me. All a bit lost, all confused, all just kind of traveling and doing whatever they want and following curiosities. And being in that environment with people who I felt like were in a very similar place to me made me feel, I guess, not so alone. Because I do think that being in Melbourne, I got to a point where I was actually feeling this sense of loneliness, I would say, actually. I think I felt disconnected. I think that was because I think not having a job was also like, or not having like I had a job. I keep saying I was unemployed. I wasn't unemployed. I had jobs. I was working hospitality. I was doing client work on my bit for my studio. But yeah, it wasn't like that. So anyways, the reason I'm talking about this, because I realize nobody cares about my entire life story, so I'm not going to keep talking about that, is because I just wanted to talk about a little bit about that experience of living with people from all around the world and also reconnecting with yourself, I guess, because I would say that Airlie Beach was my Aussie version of the Eat, Pray, Love. It was if there was a found myself moment in travel, it would be there. And I think, again, it was because I connected with people who were in a very similar phase of life to me, and I felt like it was what I needed at that time in my life. That those 3 months were exactly what I needed. I had so much fun. I just honestly lived my best life. No responsibilities apart from my job, which was working at a bar. Super fun. For me, I think I feel a lot of pressure in the city to be grinding and doing those things. And I think going away, I had found myself moment. What I learned from living with people from around the world. So yeah, when you live in a hostel with people from all over the place, you learn some random things. I actually started keeping a list at one point. Like someone would say the most random fact and I'd be like, I'm going to write that down, because I love learning that way, like through people and conversations. And yeah, that's my favorite way to learn, I think. So hence the podcast. But one of the facts that I was shocked by was that Melinda Fuji is an Italian apple brand. Very cool. I feel very special that I'm a part of an Italian apple brand. Super random. Best pasta has at least 13 grams of protein. So next time you go shopping, check the protein on your pasta. It's a good one. That one's helpful. Germany has the longest words in the world, with one of them being a 79-character word. Which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. It combines like 7 words in one. Another one, the flying spaghetti monster is a religion. It started out as satire apparently, but no, people actually believe in this. So yeah, if you're interested in religions and stuff like that, look up the flying spaghetti monster. A lot of geography facts. I didn't know about Azores. Azores is a Portuguese island, I believe. I mean, just in general, my geography expanded a lot living with lots of people, so that was really great. If you ever want to learn about geography, just go live in a hostel, because someone's going to say a town they're from and you're not going to have any idea where it is. And I really want to go to that place. Very cool. But yeah, basically through living with so many different people, I started realizing, I think that place was just triggered my curiosity so much. Like, I just wanted to learn about people. I wanted to sit with those people. I was just very fascinated by them because they're all so different to me. Like, everyone had completely different stories, different experiences, different opinions. Like, it just is such a fun, random environment to be in, because there's so many cultures in the same room. If anything, made me realize my interest in people and my curiosity about the world. And I think the funny thing is that the more you start learning about the world and about other people, the more you realize you know nothing. So this is actually the reason that this podcast exists, because I started realizing in Airlie that I liked spending quality time with people. And there was so much time for quality time in Airlie. And quality time is, I would say, a rarity in Melbourne, because a lot of the time people have things to do. And I think that time with people, without phones, without worrying about being somewhere, is so important. And it's not something that's easy to find in the city, because people just are busy, and that's just the way life is. And I know that, but I think also, like, having genuine curiosity about others, like having people be curious about me and me being curious about someone else, like, because you have so much time to be curious about each other, I feel like it's just such a nice experience to be able to like sit and talk and learn about people naturally rather than through social media. rather than seeing someone's highlight reels. So that was also like a really nice change. It feels like a lot of the things that I'm saying really do feel like I did live a bit of a hippie lifestyle for 3 months, and I think I loved it because it's such a freeing lifestyle. It is, and it really shows you what's important to you. What I realized from all this time that I spent away, like quitting my job, going to New York, starting the podcast, living with backpackers in Airlie, all these things that I did, where I followed my curiosity over the last 2 years, and with that freedom that I had, it makes me realize that like who I am and what I feel like I had time to really understand myself. And obviously that's a never ending process, but I feel like I developed a style. So from a creative lens, I feel like you're able to explore the things that you want without influence from other things like social media or friends. And when you change that environment up and you are in a new space, such as the hostel where no one knew me, no one had any expectations of who I was, I feel like that was the space where I really learned how to just be my true authentic self without trying to be a particular version of myself. And I think with my friends here, I am 100% myself as well. But I think I'm more influenced by things in my life like social media or like by what they're doing and, you know, like how they're living, because my friends inspire me and they make me want to do the things they do and, you know, follow their footsteps in that way. But I think being in Airlie, it just felt like everyone is their own person doing their own thing. And obviously, like, I take inspiration from people here and there, but I feel like I was really there for me and everyone was there for their own reasons. And there was no right way to be doing life. And I think that, yeah, just having that freedom to explore myself. I came back from Airlie and I rebranded my whole website. I put that in the world and it was just like everything made sense. And I can't explain that feeling of everything just feeling so right, but everything felt very aligned or very like me. And as a creative, I think that part of my process has been taking the time to disconnect from the things that I've done to reconnect with what is really me. And I think this podcast is a reflection of where we're at with that. This is truly me. This is where I'm at. And yeah, and I think in general, you know, thinking about the theme of disconnection, because I find it really fascinating that in my own city, in Melbourne, I felt this like disconnection. And I am someone, if you know me, I feel like I have a lot of really good friends. I talk to a lot of people. I'm a very social person, and I have a pretty good network. So for someone like me to feel disconnected, you know, I can only imagine that there are other people out there that also feel that loneliness at times. Regardless of if you're in a relationship or not, you can feel lonely. I think anyone can. I think the disconnection is not necessarily from not having enough friends or good friends. I think the disconnection is from you being in a different phase of life. And I think there are some times that in life we are just in a different phase to the people around us, and we need to go out and find the people that are in that phase. And I think part of doing this podcast is actually finding people who can relate to the things that I experience in my everyday life. We are not sharing enough honesty, I think, with each other. And I've noticed it with my own friends before, you know, like even the friends that I talk to the most and I share the most with, there are still things that we don't share, those we're not fully transparent about sometimes. Yeah, I think I just feel like I really believe that we need to share. This is going to sound woo-woo, but we need to share our truth with people. And hence part of me starting this podcast. It is actually for me because I want to find people who relate to the things that I'm going through or I'm experiencing, and I guess have a community, because I think that we are so connected. Like I said, we have social media, we have so many ways of communicating with people, but we are also so disconnected because we don't share the real emotions and challenges that come with everyday life. And I think that that's what I want this podcast to be about. The Everyday Project is about sharing my everyday life. It's about sharing the everyday lives of other people as well. I want it to be also a refreshing break from the noise on social media and life. What you can expect, and something that I'm very, very excited about with this podcast, is I talk to a lot of people. I love meeting new people. I travel a lot, so love a chat. So I'm very excited to open this podcast into an interviewing space as well, and to get people on here and I'm also really excited to test my skills as an interviewer, because I think that this is something I want to practice in part of my career. I think I'm actually really enjoying the side of asking questions, a little bit of journalism kind of vibe. So I'm very excited to open that space and start interviewing some people, and just casually, and just talk about life, everyday life, and or perhaps I will have series or themes or particular topics. So I have some ideas. So yeah, hang tight for that. I want this, you can also expect this to be reflections, of course. What would this be without some reflections? This is the podcast for everyday people with ordinary lives. I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Hoping to keep these not too long, honestly. I think that the casual chit chats on my own, I hope to condense to like 20 to 30 minutes usually. As much as I'm doing this for myself, the purpose is for people to listen to it, and I would love to know any feedback. So please always send anything my way. Tell me what you think. Expect bi-weekly episodes. I'm committing to this fortnightly for the time being, and until the next one, quiet the noise and romanticize your life. I will see you next time on the Everyday Project. I'm your host, Mel Bowmans. This is the podcast for everyday people with ordinary lives. Ciao.